My name is Jackie Lebeau. I'm going to give you a preview of my Kickboarding Challenge workshop. You might ask, why kickboards? If you've been teaching in a facility without equipment, at the very least you probably have kickboards due to swim team and swim lessons. It's going to offer your class an opportunity to work with equipment where they previously might have had the opportunity to use it. We're going to go over some standing movements today, some seated movements, and some sideline. Enjoy. So some standing moves. These are all going to be cardiovascular moves. So we're going to start as slow or as fast as you like, with our participants actually reaching their knees up towards the surface of the pool where our kickboard is resting. From here, I'm going to add a little bit of rotation. So I'm going to have my participants bring their knee to the inside of the board, tap down to the floor. This easily changes into a can-can move, which I can do on one side or both. One knee, one full extension. From here, knee and back. So in, not touching down, engaging my glutes as I push that foot back. And here, inside, outside, again, working on a lot of hip rotation from here. For seated moves, we're going to cue our class to hold the board tightly with at least one leg at a time. So a couple of moves that we can do are seated kicks, where we're actually using the front leg, kind of like an oar or a propeller, really pushing forward, here. For us, it's really easy to engage our abdominals and stay seated tall, but our participants might need that extra cue to hold that board tight so it doesn't go flying through the water. Any number of arm movements are available to us here, so we can work on abduction, adduction, flexion, and extension. We can push, we can pull. So the sky's the limit with arm movements in a seated position. We're going to do a couple of movements now with what I call the nose back. So we want that little notch to go underneath the leg of our participants. So to teach, I'm going to position myself actually half off of the chair so I can show the range of movement with the leg that's not underneath the kickboard. So I'm going to stabilize with my arms, but here in this position now with the nose back, it gives me a lot more range of motion with my body. So I can work just on a straight kick, or I can really begin to use greater range of motion here and kick forward and back, really flexing and extending through my hip. To teach sideline, I'm just going to use a lounge chair on the pool deck. So they would actually be standing for the moment. We're going to start our participants standing on the floor. They're going to take that kickboard and just pull down. So right now working on lats. So we'll ask them to put one leg on the floor, lift one leg to the sky, work on the pull down. When your class is ready, they're going to work on a pull, lift, up, and back. So this leg is actually going to lift off the floor to meet the other leg up top. Pull down, extend, up, and back. Pull down, extend, lift, and lower. While we're in this position, we can actually work on scissor kicks. So we'll be still holding our kickboard underneath our arm. We can work on scissor kicks here, and we can work on cycle kicks, taking us all the way around. Let's start standing with the kickboard. So I'm just gonna have it right here on this water's edge, okay? Just as a placement, just as a goal for my knees to hit. So I'm just gonna start with a jog. Now I'm gonna work a little bit on my hip rotation. So I'm gonna tap inside and outside of the kickboard. I'm not gonna put this foot down to touch the floor. I'm gonna take it inside, tap way back, in and tap. From here, I transition right into a can-can. So one knee, short lever, one giant kick. One knee, one kick. Now I can start to introduce that other side whenever I'm ready. For seated exercises, let's just slide this underneath. I'm going to hold it firmly and really strong squeeze with my knees and with my hamstrings. So one leg only, I'm going to kick and pull back in. So strong quadriceps and hamstrings here, out and back. I can do this with a flexed foot or with a pointed toe to get just a little bit more length in the limb. Kick and pull. So when we transition into a double kick, you may want your participants to hold onto that board, because too easily, if they've got lotion on the legs or if they're not squeezing tightly, that board is gonna pop right out from underneath. I can do any arms, anything that you can think of, we can do seated on the board. So I can work on my transverse abduction and adduction here. I can work on shoulder joint flexion and extension, elbow flexion and extension, inner and outer rotation through my shoulder. Okay. One arm pulls, again, anything that you can think of. The kickboard provides a great platform from which to move with the upper body. For what I call nose back, we're gonna orient the notch to the front. So I'm gonna hook this little notch under my leg and I'm gonna point the nose behind me here. So this is a great position for a little bit more rotation, a little bit more range of movement in the hip. So right here, I can take one leg across my body. I can work on some diagonal movements here. And then if I start to really get my torso and my arms involved, I have this very, very big full range of motion kick that I can't accomplish if I were seated on the board in a traditional seat this way. For lying down, I'm actually going to start my participants in a vertical position because I'm just first going to do a pull down with the board. So I want to firmly plant my feet to the floor, engage my abdominals, just work on that pull down and up. From here, the second level is to lift the opposite leg. So it's a little bit harder in terms of my balance now, and this is where I can choose to stay. I can also use this arm for stability. Here's where we're gonna progress. I'm gonna pull the board down one time. As I lift that board, my support leg is gonna come off the floor, meet my lifted leg, and then return. So here's my start. One pull down with the board, one lift with the leg off of the floor. So one more time again, it's a pull down, a lift, up, and back. Once I'm in a lying down body position, from here I can work on scissor kick legs. I can work just on flutter kick legs. I can work on a lying down dolphin kick if I like, and I can work on my bicycle kick. These are just a couple of moves from my workshop Kickboarding Challenge. Please check me out on the web, www.jlafitness.com, if you want to see a little bit more.